All right, it's Wednesday in Santa Clara. 49ers have their injury report. A lot of guys not practicing. And Wednesday, as you could expect, would be a very short practice because the 49ers just have a lot of guys banged up. So among those not practicing on Wednesday, Fred Warner with the ankle injury, George Kittle with his ribs, Jacob Cowing with a shoulder, Chris Conley has an oblique, Yetur Gross-Matos with the knee, and D. Winters with an ankle. Guys who are limited in practice, good news for Jordan Elliott, limited with the knee, Talanoa Hufanga with an ankle, Kevin Givens with the tricep, and Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles with the calf. So clearly, with all of those linebackers who are banged up and either not able to practice or limited, Fred Warner, D. Winters, Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, that would explain why the 49ers went out and signed Jalen Graham, their former player from last year, a 2023 draft pick. They signed him off the Washington Commanders practice squad. And I did talk to Jalen in the locker room during lunchtime, and he did say that, it was kind of a difficult situation for him. The 49ers released him. They cut him right before the start of the regular season. And Adam Peters, who was one of the people who drafted him while a member of the San Francisco 49ers organization, he brought him over to the Commanders. So in the words of Kyle Shanahan, AP, Adam Peters, AP stole him and we stole him back. So Jalen Graham, in addition to those injuries I talked about, Curtis Robinson also on IR with the torn ACL. That was from an injury last week in practice. As far as the window opening for players off of injury, off the injured reserve list or non-football injury, Ricky Pearsall will remain on the NFI list. Kyle Shanahan said, we're not going to open the window for him this week to begin practicing. Just they don't feel that he's ready quite yet. They said he's really close. And when he's good to go, they'll be pumped to have him. But it also kind of makes you wonder whether they'll do it next week either, because next week the 49ers have a short week before playing the Seattle Seahawks on a Thursday night. 49ers did open the practice window for Clea Davis, a defensive tackle. 49ers do have one opening on their 53-man roster, and Clea Davis, it sounds like, has a really good chance to be put up on the 53-man roster for this week's game against the Arizona Cardinals. Kyle Shanahan said that hopefully he'll be activated this week. They'd love to have him, but they have, in fact, opened that practice window. So basically what that means is when a player's on injured reserve or the non-football injury list or reserve PUP, you can start a 21-day window in order for that player to begin practicing. At any point during those 21 days, the team can put him on the 53-man roster. But at the end of that 21-day window, if they haven't done anything, then their hand is forced. They either have to put him on the 53-man roster, they have to keep him on the injury list for the entire season, or they could also release him or trade him. So it sounds like Clea Davis really close to being able to get back on the field for the 49ers. Really no injury update on Christian McCaffrey. Of course, he has the bilateral tendonitis, Achilles tendonitis. His dad, Ed McCaffrey, was on the Ross Tucker football podcast and talked about how, McCaffrey, his son, just works so hard. And it's been the formula for why he's been so successful throughout his career, just that maniacal work habit. And he said it worked for him last year. All that time he put in to get ready for the season. He was the NFL Offensive Player of the Year. This time it didn't work for him. He said, in fact, he got married in the offseason, didn't even take a honeymoon. So it sure sounds like the Achilles tendonitis, which started in his right calf and Achilles, and then overcompensation while he's working out, and then it moves over to his other side. But it certainly sounds like it's an overwork injury. Ed McCaffrey likened it to tennis elbow for a tennis player who can't play tennis for a while. He rests it, then he's ready to go, or she rested and she's ready to go. And so for McCaffrey, everybody seems to be cautiously optimistic that after some time to calm this thing down, that he can get back out there and play. But all indications are the 49ers and McCaffrey are happy with the treatment that he sought in Germany and that he can be back out there at some point in the future. Of course, the reality is nobody will really know until he gets back out there. Now, one of the things that Kyle Shanahan talked about on Wednesday, as far as McCaffrey being so good on third downs, catching the ball out of the backfield. And Jordan Mason has really made some strides in that area too. He had a very good game at Levi Stadium on Sunday against the Patriots, catching passes out of the backfield, had a 38-yard touchdown nullified by kind of a controversial or suspect holding call on George Kittle. But we're starting to notice that Jordan Mason is better running routes, catching passes. But Shanahan said that was actually apparent last year. And, the big turning point for Jordan Mason was when Christian McCaffrey came to the 49ers in the middle of the 2022 season. He was able to recognize all the things that McCaffrey does to elevate his game and started implementing them. The difference this year is that Jordan Mason is getting a chance to play and have those opportunities. So once again, Jordan Mason kind of taking advantage of what Christian McCaffrey brings to the table. So one other thing, talked to Malik Mustapha, who had a huge decleater block on Mike Owenu against the Patriots, a 350-pounder. Malik Mustapha played very well in that game against the Patriots. And he said his favorite play, though, was that block on Owenu that helped spring Fred Warner for the 45-yard touchdown return. And there's Greg Papa, everybody. Here's Greg Papa. Greg, give me one quick thought before we tape our Ask Papa segment.
It's hot as hell.
It is hot.
What's the warmest day at kickoff? Hottest temperature to kick off in Levi Stadium history?
I don't know, but I don't want to be sitting on this side.
We were just out there for he said, practice was. They cut it short today. Am I red enough for you?
Yeah,
I need a cold drink. I'm going to go take a shower.
Okay,
let me know when you.
So that's Greg Papa, and we're going to be doing Ask Papa segment for 49ers Talk coming up real soon. Right now, say bye, Greg.
Bye. I'm going to go shower. Hot.